The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code Mr. Tipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. It is time for the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on a Wednesday morning. Jesus Christ, it's Wednesday already. The time is flying by, having ourselves a good old time. Want to make sure, I probably should have checked it before everything, but no, we are good. We are fantastic. That is fine. That makes me happy. I am a happy, happy man here on this Wednesday morning. A lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about today. Travis Hunter wanted to go both ways. I just had to pause for dramatic effect. The Warriors get a win. The Magic get a win. The NBA playoffs are going to be set here after tonight. Well, I guess not after tonight. It'll be on Friday whenever they get set. But nonetheless, a whole lot of stuff going on in the world today. And as a matter of fact, I am going to have an additional show not on Roku. And I also, unfortunately, will not be joining the people for the National Professional Sports Show today. I know we got used to me being on there every Wednesday. I won't be able to do it today, though. I got some other recordings and other shows like that I've got to get done, unfortunately, guys. So today is the only time of the day that you get to see me. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad, but it's more than likely the best thing to possibly happen to y'all, the listening and viewing audience that are out there. One of the cool things that we've been getting has been all of the AI things, the AI football fan things. A lot of them were shared about the Dallas Cowboys. I just make a mention that the Dallas Cowboys seem to be the thing on everybody's mind, keeping the D, the biggest of the Ds, in your mind, in your heart, in your mouth. But nonetheless, we are good to go. Okay. Augustine saying, what? Only now? Damn. Rolling eyes. LOL. I got to try to remember what that is in context of. I said a lot of things here at the beginning of the show. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, on Instagram, almost on Instagram. I got to make sure I click the thing over on Instagram. Thank you for reminding me, the good people over at Instagram, that now is the time to go ahead and go live. And we are live over on Instagram. Thank you all so much for being a part of the show. Of course, obviously, we are also live on Roku via National Streaming Sports. Now, I'm going to start today off with a little bit of the Dallas Cowboys talk, only because in the news right now is Tyron Smith, who signs a ceremonial contract with the Dallas Cowboys to retire as a Dallas Cowboy. Now, if you don't remember, Tyron Smith was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in 2011, spent the majority of his career there, and spent last season with the New York Jets. The Cowboys drafted him number 9 overall, played 12 of his 13 seasons there, started 171 games for the Dallas Cowboys, went to the Pro Bowl from 2013 to 2019, and then again in 2021. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I have to sit back and think about how fantastic that Dallas Cowboys offensive line was from the mid-2000s. Augustine saying that just screams responsibility. Push the button. Come on, Benjamin. And who's Benjamin? I'm wondering if that's like a movie reference or if that's something that I just don't get. You got to remember, if it's movie references or stuff like that, I don't watch a lot of movies, my guy. I also don't watch a lot of TV, unless it was basketball. Watching a ton of basketball yesterday. But Tyron Smith retiring as a Dallas Cowboy makes me think about how amazing that offensive line was with the Dallas Cowboys, because you have 2 first ballot Hall of Famers along that offensive line with Zach Martin, with Tyron Smith. Then you think about some of the things that happened with the Dallas Cowboys. Travis Frederick. If Travis Frederick doesn't have to retire, how great would that Dallas Cowboys offensive line have been? Tyron Smith coming home, retiring as a Dallas Cowboy, was a day 1 starter for the Dallas Cowboys. Wound up being one of the best left tackles, not just in the NFL, but in NFL history. He was the first time the Dallas Cowboys selected an offensive lineman in the first round since 1981. And it's just, it's great. Like, there's a part of me that wishes that he had never played for the Jets, that he would have spent his whole career with the Dallas Cowboys, retiring alongside Zach Martin as Dallas Cowboys. And I guess they're kind of doing that now, but it loses a little bit of its luster. Tommy Cananza saying good morning. Good morning to you, Tommy. Good morning to Tim Lusher, who tuned in over on Instagram as well. It's just one of those things like where you wish that he wouldn't have gone to like he wouldn't have gone to the Jets. Like, you just spend that time in Dallas. Now, granted, I know that his time was up, but why not retire a little earlier? And retire as a like, not this ceremonial thing, but retire as an actual Dallas Cowboy. That Dallas Cowboys offensive line in the mid-2010s was so damn good. And it's a shame that with as good as that offensive line was, that the Dallas Cowboys didn't do more winning, that there wasn't any championships or anything like that for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, obviously, we can go back to 2014, 2015, the Dez Bryant caught it game, that type of stuff, and say, oh, okay, hey, look, they were robbed by some stuff. But it doesn't necessarily translate to me. You look at the talent that the Dallas Cowboys had on those teams, those mid-2010 teams, where you had Romo, where you had that great offensive line, where you had a great defense with DeMarcus Ware still being there on that team. It was just so much talent on that team. Dez Bryant, DeMarco Murray, like, there was so much there where it felt like they had lightning in a bottle. And they just do what the Dallas Cowboys do the best, and they shat the bed. Absolute heartbreak in the worst way possible for the Dallas Cowboys at that point in time. Sorry, y'all, got a couple of messages here. Thought it might be someone. I'm trying to get a guest on for today's show, so I'm trying to see if they are going to join the show or not. Tommy Canassa saying, I agree he should have retired last year, but I'm glad that he retired as a Cowboy. Obviously, when he gets into the Hall of Fame, he will retire as a Dallas Cowboy as well. They were so great. How many Super Bowls did they win? Augustine, the same guy that'll say this guy was great despite not winning championships and then say that championships that they win are what get them the weirdest line of demarcation, rings, and then stats. Because remember, we were talking about how great the Dallas Cowboys were, and you said it's all about wins, and the Dallas Cowboys have the highest win percentage in NFL history. Actually, I think our guy B. Strilla said a couple of weeks ago, or I guess it might have been last week, that the Ravens have a .001 win percentage higher than that of the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. I will fall back on that. But still, one of the highest win percentages in NFL history, 5 championships. How can we say that this team isn't great? But again, your definition of greatness seems to change from day to day. Just like an injury to LeBron James, it's day to day. I got my W water today. Got to get the energy. I got a lot of stuff that I got to do today, guys. So I'm getting just all kinds of stuff. That's an interesting message. This is where I wish I had enough TVs where I can like check everything, because apparently we're not on national streaming sports, despite the fact it tells me that I'm on national streaming sports. Oh no. So if anybody out there can check for me, are we actually live on national streaming sports? I'll have to message some other people here. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm in the middle of a show. Can't be worrying about stuff like that at this moment right now. Augustine talking about the team itself. I know what you're talking about. I was just messing with you, my guy. Come on now. Come on. You should already know by now how this goes. Shout out to Gary Bryant for tuning in right now. Gary B19, thank you so much for tuning in. Tommy Cananza saying the Ravens don't count. The conversation right now, Tyron Smith retiring as a Dallas Cowboy. And again, you look at that great offensive line that the Cowboys were able to put together. There we go. The Crooked Commish saying, yo, what's good, Money Mike? Just sent the message. Hopefully you can hook up later this week if you are free. Yes, sir, I will be free. I think I saw it. I thought it said on Friday. I got to try to look for Eagles and Giants fans and Commanders fans. I don't think I know a single Commanders fan. I also try not to know fans of other teams either, because gross. Why on God's green earth would I want to associate myself with those disgusting low-life miscreant fans of other fan bases? The salutations going hard this morning in the comment section. I am loving it. Now I've really, that's really in my head now, whether or not we are on Roku. I have a TV in the other room that has access to Roku. I don't think this TV does. No, the TV in here doesn't have access to Roku. I'm going to have to try to figure this one out. Neither Tyron Smith nor Zach Martin should get in the Hall of Fame until Darren Woodson gets in first. I can't agree with that, just because Tyron Smith and Zach Martin are surefire Hall of Famers. I agree that Darren Woodson should be in the Hall of Fame. That's one of my favorite players. I think I mentioned it earlier this week or late last week. That is one of my favorite all-time players, was Darren Woodson. Oh, God. Let's see if it connects now to Roku. USA. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Augustine saying that he couldn't find it on National Streaming Sports either. Okay, so I reconnected to National Streaming Sports. Let's see if we are able to connect on there right now to that audience. Tommy Cananza saying it's a damn joke that Darren Woodson is not in the Hall of Fame. Shake my damn head. It is. It really is a joke. And I try to sit back and I think, okay, at a certain point in time, you can say maybe this guy didn't get in because there were so many great players at his position during that era, right? Like if you look at quarterbacks in the mid 2000s till now, right? Like that era where you could say, man, that quarterback was great, but you know, you're following Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger, and like I feel like this is where Phillip Rivers is going to live. Right, where Phillip Rivers was a great quarterback. We can all say Phillip Rivers, one of the best quarterbacks. Tony Romo is going to live in this shadow as well, right? One of the best quarterbacks of that era. That's where they're going to be. Because you're in the shadow of the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, the Aaron Rodgerses, the Patrick Mahomes, like people like that, where there was just so many great quarterbacks, Drew Brees, so many great quarterbacks of that specific era. Because if you look at it, Tony Romo being the all-time leading quarterback in every single stat for the Dallas Cowboys minus Super Bowl wins, Tony Romo being that guy, if you're the best quarterback of a franchise, you should be in the Hall of Fame. It means that you were doing something great, right? And I look at that, and I juxtapose that to Darren Woodson, arguably one of the best, if not the best safety in the NFL at that point in time. And I can't think of a lot of other great safeties during that era. Now, granted, I was a young man at that point in time. I probably wasn't paying attention to a whole bunch of the other teams that were out there. But Darren Woodson, being one of the best on one of the best teams, how he's not in the Hall of Fame is a downright joke. Tommy Canazza saying it's Cowboys hate, Mike. I don't know if I'm going to say that it's Cowboys hate. Gary Bryant saying, how did Eric Allen get in before Woody? Straight up nepotism by Filthy got in the Super Bowl, so let's conveniently put Allen in. Good player, but not better than Woody. And I agree with that. It is strange to me that Darren Woodson isn't in the Hall of Fame, because it's one of those players where you keep thinking about, like, how different would that Cowboys defense? And there you go. Steve Atwater was decent, not better than Darren Woodson. Is it, you know, the other was Rod Woodson that much better? Right? Like it seems odd to me. Sonia Pearson saying, good morning, sharing. Thank you so much for sharing the live and everything that we are doing over here with the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. If you can, Sonia, please check Roku. I was told that it didn't connect. I reconnected, but I haven't heard anything back. So I'm trying to see that maybe, just maybe, we are connected on the Roku channel. Sonia Pearson, y'all already know her. Prim and Proper Sports, helping out with a lot of stuff. Man, I'm worried now. Not on Roku. Feels like I'm homeless. Rod Woodson was a cornerback and a safety, so that's fair, but he got in before Woody. And that's the thing, like, I'm trying to think of, let me go to the internet and just do a crude search here. I'm looking up. The Crooked Commissioner saying, you apparently didn't apologize enough to Roku. They're keeping me out. They're keeping me out right now, guys. So just a crude search, right? Says that you have, I just typed it in, best safeties of the 90s. You had Leroy Butler, Steve Atwater, Carnell Lake, Darren Woodson, and Ronnie Lott. I don't know if I'm putting Ronnie Lott as a 90s safety. I always associate him more with the 80s. Maybe he played a little bit into the 90s. But if you're one of the top 5 at your position for a decade, you've got to be, at least in my opinion, in the Hall of Fame. Right? Like that's what it's got to be, in my opinion, is you've got to get to the Hall of Fame if you're one of the best 5 at your position for a decade. Augustine saying, feels like iHeart is back at it. Did iHeart buy Roku? Oh no, I'm really screwed if that's the case. I was thinking about doing something a little different, but that'll be another conversation for another time. Looking to find a way to get people jobs is what I was looking to try to do. But that'll be a conversation for another day. Darren Woodson should be in the Hall of Fame, but I don't think that is necessarily something that should keep Tyron Smith and Zach Martin out of the Hall of Fame. Tommy Cananza saying, I'm sorry, but none of those guys were better than Woody. Only Ed Reed was worthy of getting in before him. Gary Bryant saying, I need another job. I'm looking to do something a little different. So hopefully we might be able to do that coming up here in the near future. I got to build out like a business plan. I got to be businessman Tip, which is never, ever, ever a good thing for anybody. And Tommy, I agree with you. Like, I look at those names: Leroy Butler, Steve Atwater, Carnell Lake, Ronnie Lott. Again, Ronnie Lott, I don't feel like should be in the 90s. That feels like an 80s guy to me, but whatever. I don't see, like, even with that, if you're top 5, you take Ronnie Lott out of there, you're top 4 for a decade, you should be in the Hall of Fame. I've got to see what the argument is against Darren Woodson being in the Hall of Fame. Hell, why not? We're already here. Why not type it up? You simply type in, why isn't Darren? And the first thing that comes up is Woodson in the Hall of Fame. Why isn't Darren Woodson in the Hall of Fame? You just type in, why isn't Darren? And the first thing that pops up is, why isn't Darren Woodson in the Hall of Fame? And it makes you wonder, like what the hell? The argument is that Woody wasn't on the all-decade team. The Dallas Cowboys were the team of the 90s. How could he not have been on the all-decade team? That's wild to me. If I'm not mistaken, didn't the Dallas Cowboys have the most wins in the 90s? And it took like the mid-2000s Patriots to have more wins than them, like the Tom Brady-led teams, to get more wins than the Dallas Cowboys? That's wild that he wasn't on that all-decade team. Our guy Bistrilla saying, good morning, Tip. TC915. Good morning to everyone that's over on YouTube hanging out with us here as we are having our conversation of the time right now. Tyron Smith retiring as a Dallas Cowboy. My opinion, surefire Hall of Famer along with Zach Martin. Thinking about how great that offensive line was in Dallas. And the conversation has turned over to, why isn't Darren Woodson in the Hall of Fame? That is a wild thing to me. I always forget that Darren Woodson isn't in the Hall of Fame because I just assume that Darren Woodson is in the Hall of Fame. That's crazy to me. Do you know what else is crazy, guys? That it's time for Just the Tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just the Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
You talk about perfect timing right there. Tommy Carranza saying that his kids just got out of the car. Thank goodness for that. The kids just getting out of the car right now, letting us know what's going on in the world of Just the Tip. Travis Hunter in the news because Being called the tiptoe burglar, saying I'm 5 minutes early. The only reason why I'm 5 minutes earlier is because I'm hoping that my guest will actually join. My guest is a straight-laced person. I didn't want to play that as an intro for my guest if they actually join. I know they're super busy, so I'm not going to hype up that I'm having a guest right now. I'm hoping that I have a guest on the show. I wouldn't expect them, though, just because they are, again, super, super busy. But here, on the Just the Tip segment of the show, Travis Hunter says that he wants to go both ways. Pause. Perfect. Just the tip. Travis Hunter going both ways. It all came together in just the perfect union. If you don't believe in a deity that's out there and a higher being and an omnipotent power, this right here should make you. Travis Hunter wants to go both ways, and I started just the tip, and it goes perfectly together. Gary Bryant saying just the tip is crazy work. Hey, that was the name of my very first show. Augustine saying, so we're not straight-laced? I'm definitely not. I should be more, but I also feel like if I was, then that's it. Tommy Kanata saying you're never too busy for the tippies. What the hell? Okay, so if I do get my guest on today, and again, like I'm not holding my breath. I sent the messages. I've done all that. He agreed to it, but it's also so difficult to try to do it this early in the morning. It is NBA analyst Ryan Hollins from the Houston Rockets. Ryan is, again, the Houston Rockets are in the playoffs, so they've got a whole bunch of TV stuff that they've got to worry about. I'm hoping that we caught them in that in-between time, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we get the 7-footer here on the tipping point with Mike Tipton. If we do, cool. If we don't, cool. I got nothing but love for my guy anyway. And I totally understand the reason why he wouldn't be able to make it. TV life is so much different than radio life and any of that other stuff. But Travis Hunter wanted to go both ways. And we're saying this right before you get with the NFL draft. And Travis Hunter says, quote, "It's never playing football again because I've been doing it my whole life, and I love being on the football field. I feel like I could dominate on each side of the ball, so I really enjoy doing it." He says this as a way of being like, if you're not going to allow me to play both ways, I'm not going to be on the team. I don't want to play football if I can't go both ways. Pause. And I have to sit here and think to myself, who the hell out there, what team out there is telling Travis Hunter, nah, guy, we're not going to let you go both ways? I don't feel like Tennessee would do it. I don't feel like Cleveland would do it. I don't feel like the Giants would say that. I don't feel like the Patriots would say that. What team is telling Travis Hunter, we only want you as a one-way guy instead of going both ways with this team and maximizing your value as a player on this team? I don't feel like that's even a conversation that should be had, right? Like maybe as he gets older and, you start seeing the wear and tear on his body, like whenever he gets closer to 30, you can be like, hey, maybe we slow it down a little bit. We only play you in specific packages, whatever it may be. But what team out there in the top 10 is looking at Travis Hunter and saying, you know what? That guy shouldn't play on both sides of the ball. He's still young enough. He's super dynamic. He just won the Heisman Trophy being able to do that. I get it. He played 713 snaps on offense, 748 on defense this past season in Colorado. Tommy Kanata says, letting him play both ways is stupid. You're doubling the chances of injury. They invest a lot of money in a top 5 pick. I don't think it's any worse than whenever you see a team draft a wide receiver in the top 10 and put him in as a punt returner. I think if that's increasing the risk of injury more so. But you're allowing that, like, he's done it his whole career. It's not like he's, made of glass. If he really was made of glass, then there you go. But I'm saying maybe you don't do what Colorado did where he's in on every single offensive play, because I think he's better as a cornerback than he is as a wide receiver. But you got to have him in specific situations, right? Like you have to be able to develop an offensive package for him, kind of the way that the Bears used to do with Devin Hester. I can see them doing that. Keep him in on defense all the time. Have specific packages for him on offense, whether or not it's as a decoy or whatever. But you can do so much with him. Tommy Canassa saying that's stupid too, but punt returning and playing every play is different. I agree with that 100%. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe not every play, but you do have to try to maximize that kind of talent on the offensive side, especially if he has the ability to be one of your top 5 receivers. If you put him in at number 4, or you even put him in at the slot every now and then, you put him in as a decoy in the running back position, there's so much that you can do with him that I don't say you completely just say, no. You only have one side of the ball, that's all you get. The kid has so much talent, so much more talent. It's wild to think that at least for the first couple of years that you wouldn't allow him to be your main guy, like on every side of the ball. Like it's just weird to me that you wouldn't do that, especially if you're drafting him coming off of a Heisman Trophy winning season where he played both sides of the ball. Again, not 700 snaps on offense, but maybe he gets 15, 20 snaps a game on offense, right? Like why not? Whenever I say 20, it does sound like a lot. So maybe not 20, but 15, 10, 15 on certain days he can get 20, right? Like I don't feel like that's doing too much. Nonetheless, Travis Hunter wanting to go both ways on Just the Tip. I literally brought that up as a joke segment, guys. My apologies here. Going to the NBA. The NBA playoffs are kind of underway? Question mark. The Crooked Commish says it was either Friday or tonight. Which works better for you? Just let me know whenever you look at your schedule. If we could do tonight at like 6 Central, that would be perfect for me. So that'd be roughly 5 o'clock my time. So if we can do something like that, or even after that time, then that would work as well. I won't be able to do the National Streaming Sports Show today, National Professional Sports Show. I won't be able to be a part of that show today. Unfortunately, I got a couple of other recordings that I'm going to be doing a little bit later for stuff here in El Paso. Also, if you are in El Paso, I want to invite you to join me at Twin Peaks on Thursday, April 24th, as we are going to have an NFL draft watch party. Again, the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We are going to have an NFL draft watch party with our friends over at Twin Peaks at the Fountains at Farrah. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fantastic time. Come on out there. Join me. I might have the cameras and go live. You could be a part of the show live while we're over there for the NFL draft. Looking forward to seeing some of y'all out there. If not all of you, Gary, Crooked Commish, B. Strilla, get on a flight. Come to El Paso just to hang out at Twin Peaks at the Fountains at Farrah and hang out with your boy and watch the NFL draft. That's the best way that you can show love and support to this show, along with liking and sharing and doing all the other stuff like that. So hopefully that works with me. 8 Central, that does work. That should work with me as well. We'll work on that tonight, Crooked Commish. I'll be there. 7 o'clock my time. All you got to do is send me the link and I will be there. I like that. I always love whenever people invite me to be a part of their shows, and it means that either A, I'm the court jester, or B, I might say stuff that sounds good every once in a while. The Huddle Sports Network, shared by Sonia. Thank you so much, Huddle Sports Network. I got to get in contact with y'all. I know Sonia does some stuff with y'all. I got to see how I can start doing some stuff with the Huddle Sports Network as well. Nonetheless, hanging out here on a Wednesday. The NBA playoffs underway. The Warriors last night, I was watching this game. The Warriors last night get a 121-116 win. They'll take on the Houston Rockets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Magic get a win as well, 120-95. In the third quarter, it looked like Atlanta was going to be able to come back, make this a game. They got it to within 6 points, and then Orlando decided we're just going to wake up in here. Paolo Banchero and them boys were doing their damnedest to make sure that the Hawks realize that they have no legitimate shot in this. About halfway through the fourth quarter, Trae Young decides, you know what, I'm done with this game. Let me get kicked out of the game. Winds up getting 2 technicals, goes back to the locker room, and the Hawks just get that ass kicked. That means the Magic will be taking on the Boston Celtics in the second round. So what that does now, Chicago Clubhouse Network, that's where you'll find just the tip tonight. That is right. The Chicago Clubhouse Network, that's where you'll find the tip. The tip always hanging out. Wait, that sounded weird too. The tip always hanging out. Oh, I guess when you got it, you flaunt it. I will never understand why or how y'all deal with my nonsense on this show, but you know what? I appreciate the love and I appreciate the support. Augustine left whenever we said that I wasn't straight-laced. That hurts my feelings a little bit. Augustine, I apologize that I'm not straight-laced enough for you. Like Travis Hunter, I'm playing both sides. But tonight, we have the Dallas Mavericks taking on the Sacramento Kings. The winner of that will play the loser from yesterday, which was the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis, that's a fun team to watch, but I just don't think that they have enough to get over the hump in the Western Conference of the NBA. At best case scenario, Memphis wins. They take on the number 1 seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, what, a decade and a half ago? Jesus Christ, I'm old. Maybe not that long ago. Maybe 13 years ago. 14 years ago. So, yeah, basically a decade and a half ago. The Memphis Grizzlies as an 8 seed beat the number 1 seed San Antonio Spurs, but we're also talking about a time and era where 9 games separated number 1 from number 10 in that NBA Western Conference at that point in time. That wasn't your traditional number 8 seed. Right now, let me come over here to find out what the difference is, because I know it's a huge difference. It's 16 games. 16 games that separate the Oklahoma City Thunder from the number 2 Houston Rockets. It is 20 games that separate the Memphis Grizzlies from the Oklahoma City Thunder. I can't see any scenario here where Memphis can beat Oklahoma City. Tommy Carranza saying, I don't get it. Why does the winner play the loser? So, in the NBA play-in tournament, you have the 7 and 8 seed play against each other, the 9 and 10 seed play against each other, right? So it's 2 different brackets. It's kind of like a shocker. 2 different brackets. 7 and 8, whoever wins that game automatically wins the number 7 seed. So they're in. They don't have to play a second game at all. The loser of that game has to play another game between the winner of 9 and 10 to determine who's going to be the 8th seed in it, right? And that's what that is. Now, for me, it's a fun concept. I just don't think it's been explained as best and as easy as it can be, because the NBA, for whatever reason, goes over the top with their explanations. 2 games, 3 total. So now you got the rock star working with you. I'm going to hell. 3 games total. 7 and 8 seed play against each other. Whoever wins becomes the 7 seed. The 8 seed waits over here for the winner between 9 and 10. 9 and 10, whoever wins that game, you make it over to play the 8 seed team now to see who's going to be in 8th place. If you lost that 9-10 game, you're out. You're done. Your playoff hopes dashed, gone completely. The winner of the 8 seed game will face the number 1 seed in the playoffs. All it is to try to give more teams a chance. Back whenever teams were closer to being in the playoffs than what they are now. If you look at where it is, Golden State was a game behind the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Grizzlies were a game behind the Minnesota Timberwolves. They would have been the 7 and 8 seeds, right? Without this play-in tournament, they would have been the 7 and 8 seeds, no matter what, because Sacramento was 8 games behind them. Dallas was 9 games behind the 8th seeded Memphis Grizzlies. It's not close. To me, it's not close. It's not close enough to warrant the NBA play-in tournament. And I feel like what they need to do instead of having the play-in tournament every year, is just do it based off of how close teams are, right? If you look at the Eastern Conference, now I can see why the Eastern Conference would have it. The Detroit Pistons, the number 6 seed right now, they are 3 games ahead of the Orlando Magic. They were 4 games ahead of the Atlanta Hawks. And then the Bulls and the Heat are 3 games behind the Atlanta Hawks. So it's close enough to justify there, where you have a total of 6 games separating those 4 seeds, right? Like I guess 4 games separating those 4 seeds. I could see the play-in tournament working for them. But whenever you have 8 games separating 4 seeds, it kind of feels like it's already working right now. And it's basically 8 games that separate 2 seeds in the Western Conference. So if you are playing the 7-8 game, you can lose and still have a chance to get in. Yes, right? So the 8 seed just waits. They wait for the winner of the 9-10 game. If they win against the winner, if they beat the winner of the 9-10 game, man, now I'm starting to sound like the NBA. If the loser of the 7-8 matchup beats the winner of the 9-10 game, then they go in as the 8th seed. If they lose to the winner of the 9-10 game, then they're out. And the winner of the 9-10 game makes it in as the 8th seed. Again, it's giving more teams a chance, but I feel like the Mavs and the Kings don't deserve a chance, right? And Tommy, I know you're a Mavericks fan, so you're saying maybe, just maybe, they get the win tonight. They get the win over Memphis. They go in as an 8th seed. The season wasn't a total loss, despite the fact that they will get slammed by the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's a very confusing playoff scenario, but you see the NBA trying to do these things to try and get more people to watch, to try to get more eyeballs on the NBA. I understand it. I get it. It's a business at the end of the day. It's a couple of extra games. It's more games on TV, so you get a little bit in revenue. The stands, the arenas get a little more play as well. So maybe that's what you're looking for. But man, it just feels like this season it didn't need to work. Not in the Western Conference. You could have just set up the Western Conference and everybody would have been fine with it. The Eastern Conference, I can see why you would have it. So I think instead of having the play-in tournament happen all the time, it needs to be on a case-by-case basis. And I assure you that all the teams that just played 82 games are going to sit there and say, you know what? I'll take the extra 5 days off before we start the playoffs so that whoever needs to get in can play the tournament to get in. And it just needs to be on a case-by-case basis. It doesn't need to be every single year. Tommy Cananza saying, I have zero faith in the Mavs even making the playoffs, TBH. I mean, beat the Kings, beat the Grizzlies. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that hard. I will say, though, the Mavs are kind of, oh, man, they're on the struggle bus, right? And what makes it even worse is that general manager Nico Harrison doubled down on his mantra of defense wins championships, repeatedly using that as an explanation for the decision as to why they traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Once again, that was a shocking blockbuster trade that happened back in February. Harrison, along with the new Mavericks CEO, Rick Welts, they had an hour-long session yesterday with a select group of Dallas media members. A select group of Dallas media members. They didn't allow them to record. They didn't allow them to get video. They didn't allow them to get pictures. It was a closed-door session for these select groups of Dallas media members. And Nico Harrison decided to say, there were no regrets on this trade. Part of my job is to do the best thing for the Mavericks, not only today, but in the future. And some of the decisions I'm going to make are going to be unpopular, but that's my job. I have to stand by it. If you're going to stand by it, own that ish. Don't just sit there and do a behind-the-scenes, closed-door media session like a coward, as Tommy Cananza is saying right there as well. a coward for how he handled that business yesterday. If you're going to sit there and double down and say defense wins championships, I don't regret this trade at all, then you better put your big boy pants on and you better meet the media, all of the members of the media that can make it out there. And you better tell them straight to their faces, record it, make a video of it. I don't give a F. Remember it, write it down, whatever you got to do. I don't give an F. I stand by this trade. To sit there behind closed doors and say, you can't record this right now. You can't record it. I don't want to look bad. I don't want people chanting for me to be fired. Wah. To do that nonsense and then try to act like you're a big badass? Come on now. Come on now. Part of my job is to do the best thing for the Mavericks, not only today, but also in the future. And some of the decisions I'm going to make are going to be unpopular. That is my job, and I have to stand by it. Tommy Canazza saying, I love the fact that the Mavericks told fans that if you're going to chant fire Nico, you're getting kicked out of the arena. The fans said, throw us all out, and the whole arena was chanting fire Nico. If I'm Nico, and if I'm the Dallas Mavericks, I own this. I start handing out shirts that say fire Nico. Nico's not going to get fired. And if you're going to be in that position, you better be thick-skinned, my boy. You better be able to sit back and say, nah, I can handle this business. I'm good. But to sit back and say, yeah, I'm going to double down on this, only to a select group of media members, and you're not allowing them to do it, not allowing them to record, not allowing them to get video, not allowing them to do whatever it is that they're supposed to do in order to do their job the best. If you're not going to allow them to do that, you're taking the coward's way out. And Nico Harrison has proven to me time and time again, as they're chanting fire Nico and he stands in the tunnel so that way he doesn't get his little feelings hurt. Aw. Proving time and time again that he's just not cut out for this job. Tommy Cananta saying Nico's job is to go walk off a bridge. Go do your job, Nico. Find a bridge, walk off it. Walk off the long way. They were making the fans take off fire Nico shirts. No, what I'm saying is if I'm the Dallas Mavericks, I lean into it. Right? Like a batter. You know you're about to get hit with a pitch. You lean into it so you can get on base, right? I am making Dallas Mavericks branded Fire Nico shirts, and I am selling them at the team shop because them things will fly off the racks. Embrace the hate, Nico Harrison. If you're going to come out here and try to act like you're Billy Badass, embrace the hate. Yeah, go ahead, chant Fire Nico. Wear the Fire Nico shirt. Come to the games because that's all we care about for the most part. There's other stuff there. We'll talk about that another time whenever it comes down to the Adelson family and all the stuff with them. But if you're Nico Harrison, you lean into it. If you're going to try to do it and sound like you're a badass on all this stuff here, then you better lean into it, my guy. Okay, so those are the thoughts right there on the Dallas Mavericks, on Nico Harrison saying that he stands by the trade. It's his job. It's my job to make sure that I stand by this horrible, horrible trade and double down on defense wins championships. I can't wait to see what happens with the Dallas Mavericks moving forward. One of the things that was out there, and Tommy, I'd love to get your opinion on this. One of the things that was out there, Miriam Adelson, Nico Harrison, and Patrick Dumont can all go to hell from a Dallas Mavericks fan. Signed Dallas Mavericks fan. I like that. What if, though? Oh, Mark Cuban, too, I guess, for selling the team. Is that what it is? For not having any spine for selling the team? But what if, Tommy, this happens? It was something that was brought up today on Unsportsmanlike. You can listen to Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio every single day, Monday through Friday. And one of the topics that they brought up was the Dallas Mavericks and the possibility of the Dallas Mavericks signing Kevin Durant to a contract to play his last couple of years in Dallas alongside Kyrie Irving and alongside Anthony Davis. You get the scorer that you need. You have the defensive presence. You keep Derek Lively or one of the other bigs that you have there in Dallas and Gafford. You keep some of those players there, but you bring in a guy like Kevin Durant to be your bucket, to just be your bucket getter. You can still run the offense with everyone because we saw it this year. Even though Kevin Durant seems to have taken a little step back, he was still averaging 28 points a game this year, right? It wasn't his fault that the Suns were that bad. And Tommy hitting the nail right on the head. KD does not make up for Luka Doncic because you get a year, maybe 2 years of Kevin Durant where you gave up an entire decade, maybe 15 years of Luka Doncic as your main anchor. It's a nice make good for now if you feel like you're going to win a championship. And you have to remember, Nico Harrison came in here and said, we're winning a championship in 4 to 5 years. 4 to 5 years. Nico Harrison said this team was going to win a championship. Last year, they didn't. This year is going to be punt on. Next year, you're probably not going to get Kyrie Irving back until after the All-Star break due to that ACL tear. So you've got to try to do something to salvage the season. If they're somewhat competitive by the time the All-Star break comes around and by the time Kyrie Irving comes back, maybe you make a couple of trades to make the team better. But if all you're saying is you got 4 or 5 years to try to get this done, it's not going to work. Tommy Kanata saying this is unforgivable unless you bring Luka back. Go F yourself, Nico. And that would be the thing, right? There's still a part of me, Tommy, there's still a part of me that wants to have the conspiracy big mega mind brain of what if at some point in time Luka Doncic becomes a free agent and goes back to Dallas. That would be fantastic. I would be all about it, man. That would be one of my favorite things to see if it actually came through fruition that way. All right, everybody, I want to thank you so much for being a part of today's show. Remember, on Thursday, April 24th, the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton will be live at Twin Peaks at the Fountains at Farrah for the NFL Draft. We're going to have an NFL Draft watch party. There's all kinds of specials that are going to be happening that day at Twin Peaks. I'm going to be there. I hope you can be there with it as well. I already know I got a couple of friends that are going to be there, and we can just talk about the NFL Draft. We can be as annoying as fans of our teams as we want to be, looking at what is one of my favorite events in sports, the Day of Hope. The one day of hope. Now, what would really put the icing on the cake on this one is if the Dallas Cowboys were to trade out of that 12 spot and not even have a first-round draft pick. That would be hilarious to me because I would be there for no reason whatsoever. So hopefully that happens. I would have to stay and watch the entire draft and just be angry the entire time. But I'd be happy with my friends over at Twin Peaks and hopefully you as well. We will see you all tomorrow on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. You all know there are hundreds of betting sites out there, but don't be fooled. Some sites are legal in some states only, some sites pay in Bitcoin, and some sites have even been hacked. However, BetUS has been in business for over 30 years. They have future bets that are paying out in the thousands, and there's still time for you to bet on the Super Bowl, the National Championship, and even the NBA Championship. Just use the QR code right here, and it will take you to the BetUS site. BetUS. Check it out and bet responsibly. Are you a fellow car guy? I have a 2008 Ford Mustang GT convertible, and nothing makes me happier in that car than when it's nice and clean. And you know who helps me get there? RevAutoCarCare.com. They help me get that pony looking as nice and shiny and ready for any of the car meetups that are all around the great city of El Paso. Spoil your car and go to RevAutoCarCare.com/Tipton and view all the inventory they have and find out what works for you to help make your ride shine. RevAutoCarCare.com/Tipton. Use promo code Tipton33 at checkout to save 15%.